Hey guys, it's Off-Meter Collector, and something I've been wanting to talk about on the channel for a long time is the fazbear frights heroes. These odd random horror stories are probably my favorite corner of the FNAF canon. I really appreciate that not only do they bring back old characters like Plushtrap, Funtime Freddy, Foxy, and the Min arenas, but they also introduce new characters like Ralpho and Fetch. Not only are the stories more English than the but also the writing is, in my opinion, 10 times better. To celebrate the first series of the Fazbear Fright books, which it really isn't the first series, but we're not getting another book until 2021, so these were the original 5 books, so I'm considering this series but anyway, I'm getting off track. To show my appreciation and the flesh. This was the second story in the book as of now, Bunny Call. In the story, we follow our main character, Matt, and I'm gonna be honest, Matt is a pretty big jerk throughout the entire story. He has little to no likable qualities, and honestly, what happens to him at the end of the story, I honestly didn't really feel sorry for him. As evil as that is, he just was a really big jerk, guys. To understand why I'm putting this story on the bottom, let me give you a quick summary of this one. Matt is a game developer making a new game called Springtrap's Revenge game is very similar to the corn maze from FNAF VR. In the book, the game Matt's working on is a VR game where you walk around in a maze trying to avoid spring. But then the game files corrupt. Matt goes in to see what's going on, and when he finds Springtrap, he touches him and feels a slight shock. This will come into play later on. Over the next few pages, Matt is getting a lot fatter, a lot more aggressive because he's eating a lot more and he hasn't really been feeling well. This all goes to Max when he... The reason why I ranked this story so low is it's just really unpleasant to read. I know FNAF is a horror franchise, so not everything is sunshine and rainbows, but this one just felt unnecessarily cruel. We'll see later on down the ranking that there are some cruel stories like to me personally. So coming in at number 15 is In the Flesh. Let's move on to number 14. This next entry is probably going to be the most controversial, that being Coming Home, the final story at 1:35 AM. I will admit, the plot of this one is pretty interesting. We have Susie, aka Chica victim, roaming around her house 1 year after she's been killed. Every night at 12 AM, the Chica animatronic shows up at the front door. Basically, long story short, Susie has 2 days left before the Chica animatronic takes her soul forever or something like that, I don't know. Listen, I'm sorry I'm not all into this one. This one was just kind of boring. It was just about Susie trying to communicate to her sister. Don't get me wrong, the story's not terrible. There's just not really a lot of action or tension throughout the story, and it's just okay in my opinion. I'm sorry this entry's been so short. I just really don't have a lot to say about this one, mostly because it's probably, in my opinion, the most boring and most forgettable. So coming in at number 14 is Coming Home. Let's move on to number 13. Coming in at number 13 is Lonely Freddy, the second short story in the second Fazbear Fright book, Fetch. Similarly to In the Flesh, our main protagonist is kind of a jerk, at least at the end. Alec tries to change his ways. In this story, Alec is really jealous of his younger sister. She gets all the attention from the parents. He plans to expose her for the bad person. His sister finds a Lonely Freddy, swaps bodies with it, and now Lonely Freddy has overtaken his body somehow. This one is especially sad with